being young is just a mindset.
Okay then.
By the way, you know that based on research on Spotify, we see that after the age of 27, you stop listening to new type of music.
Okay.
So if you want to stay young, just one simple trick. Every year, make a playlist of 10 new songs of that year. If you do this every year, you're young. All right. Hello, my name is Tom. I'm a trend watcher. I help companies, governments to look towards the next 5 or 10 years. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow that's not easy. Because when you do an exercise, everybody's thinking about that one colleague. You all have this one person you don't get along with, or that printer that's not working. So one just tomorrow is too difficult. Think about the next 20 or 30 years, then we're living on Mars. So we can't do anything about that. But think about the next 5 or 10 years that give space to innovate. Now, talking about the future today is not easy. When I was young, my favorite movie was Back to the Future. Who's in that on that? Back to the Future? Yeah. For the nurse, which one? First one, second one? First one? You know, in the second one, when you see the actor on his skateboard and he's flying, you remember this? For me, that was awesome. I was dreaming about, I was a skater when I was young. So I was dreaming about flying with my skateboard and flying with cars. And I work a lot for Audi and Volkswagen. Where are they? Like, you know, we're still waiting. And my flying skateboard, well, yeah, and, or time travel. So at that time, the future looked bright. And we go way back to 58. What happened in Belgium in the year 1958? World Expo. Yeah, World Expo. In that time, families went to Brussels. That was for them their holiday. And then they arrived and they saw the building of Philips. And it was designed by Corbusier. That was futurism. And then they entered the building of Philips and they listened to Edgar Varèse. Now, this evening, please go to YouTube, search Edgar Varèse with the song La Poème électronique. It's incredible. It's pure noise. Today, if you listen to it, you're like, damn. You can listen to techno, but that's something differently. Like, this is weird. Now imagine in the year 1958, people were embracing the idea of the future. But now if we talk about the future, it's about eating less meat. And I love meat. I have a company in Argentina, just only to be able to eat meat. I love meat. You should eat less sugar. We need to travel less. Sustainability. Owning a house. Will our next generation be able to buy a house? Buy a car? The average car 5 years ago, the average business car 5 years ago, was 35,000 euros. Today, the average business car is 62,000 euros. Buying a car is becoming impossible if you're now in your 20s. So when you think about the future, it's about less. And then we go from the one crisis to the other. That's why we call it permanent crisis, a constant state of crisis, perma-crisis. And the only answer, globally, the only answer for this feeling of the future is less, and we go from the one crisis to the other, the only answer today is nostalgia. The past was better. That's why we're watching Barbie. We're drinking espresso martinis. One of the biggest selling products on Amazon in Belgium is analog cameras. That's why our politicians are always talking about make ... great again. Also something about an emmer and some water, but that's another story. That's a joke for Dutch people, Flemish people. Now, we're all embracing nostalgia. And the past 10 years, I was fighting nostalgia, but I was wrong. We're all searching for a sense of connectivity, connection with yourself, with nature, with each other, and also searching for a sense of simplicity. Now, nostalgia is something very normal. It's very human. But the problem is that it's becoming part of our culture. That's why people are now saying we need to eat or consume less. You only can buy 5 types of clothes. Nobody's going to love this story. Everyone's going to hate this story. It's not about less. It's about consuming different. But it's also about innovating differently. How can we help people to change? Well, if you look at youngsters, they were asking for climate change, protesting globally right before COVID, but then COVID hits. And that global movement seems to be disappearing. But it's not true. In every research, we see that young people are still asking governments and companies to take action. They don't believe your marketing plan, they believe your actions. What are you doing? Every day. And it's not only from a consumer perspective, it's even also from an HR perspective. In the war for talent, as a company, you need to be actionable, value-driven, and you need to think about how to tackle their biggest concerns. And for young Generation Z, one of their biggest concerns is sustainability. Also price and quality. That's why they also sometimes go to Primark. And that's why they also, if they choose for sustainability, it should be really tasteful. I have, besides my job as a trend researcher, I also have a wine brand. We are biological wines, but we're not putting this on our label, because that's the new normal. Taste is way more important. Now, what is an answer to all this? Again, consuming differently. Youngsters are going to thrift stores, buying second-hand clothes, sharing clothes with each other. But what about the food industry? How can we recycle stuff? How can we upcycle stuff? How can we make products better? And how can we make waste useful? If we can answer those questions, we're not talking about consuming less. No, it's about consuming different, and more importantly, it's about innovating differently. And when you start telling those stories to consumers, to youngsters, the future is going to be different, not less. Then there is a slight possibility that that future is going to be looking great again. Make the future look great again. Thank you very much.